Okay, so now we are ready to start populating our model using Lumion's fairly extensive built-in library. And again, I'm using Lumion Pro. It has more models available than the just straight Lumion, and Lumion free version only has a few models. So I'm going to start out by adding vegetation over in this area, and I've adjusted a few of the textures and made a few minor changes. So we're going to add some trees in this area, in these planters. You can probably tell I'm not a landscape architect, but I'm just trying to show you the methodology for adding vegetation. Let's add maybe one more plant in each of these planters. Something like that. Alright. Now let's go into the lobby, and start adding a few more objects. We're going to need some people, so let's start there. To rotate, you simply grab the rotate heading, face him the way he needs to. I also want to add, just to show you, you can add some other objects such as a ceiling fan. If you go to assorted, there are static ceiling fans and there are spinning ceiling fans. And they're going to just go ahead and go on the underneath of a surface, something like that. Let's also add one more planter. That. And then just a few more people. We're going to add him here, and obviously we're going to need to grab a seat. So you go to indoor and seating. And you can change the color of those seats as well. And before we move upstairs, I want to add, if you go to outdoor, and assorted, excuse me, it's not assorted furniture. There's some benches. As well. Okay, now if you were going to show the scenes in every single level, you would need to populate all of them. When you're going to start doing this, you need to think about which areas is the camera going to see, because the areas the camera's not going to see, you really shouldn't worry about, to be as streamlined as possible. So for the scene that we're going to do right now, you're only going to see the lobby, and you're only going to see the restaurant area in the top. And so that's all we're going to populate. Also, you can add some decorations. If you go back to indoor and decorations, you can find some art. So it was facing the wrong way. I just needed to turn it around, and then we can size that as well. Surprisingly, I'm not an interior decorator as well. I know that's going to shock you. Okay. You can see the models are animated. They kind of do their own moving around. This guy's the bartender. He's a little bit informal. And then you can also add some food items, which I believe food and drink. That guy looks nervous. That's an important business meeting. Okay. So now we're going to get ready to do some renders. Again, this is preliminary. I'm just showing how you would do it if you wanted the model to be completely static. You're just doing some renders or some fly-throughs. We're not doing any animations. So you go to Photo, and remove this just to show you how I do it. You might notice that the clouds are reflecting off the reflective floor, but none of the chairs or the people are. The reason that it does that is because if Lumion tried to reflect everything off everything, it would probably crash. And so it's something that you have to add when you're getting ready to render. You go to Reflection, and you go to, I don't know why they make you click so many buttons, but you have to add which areas you want to be reflected. You add a plane, and then you click it. And then you can add multiple planes. For example, we could add the surface of this table. Alright, so now you can see the reflections of the tables on the wood floor. One more thing I want to add is just to show you, is the lighting. If we add a lamp, you go to this button, it's lights and special objects, and then you can choose all these different lights, and then you put it right there within the lamp, and it turns on. And you don't have to have a lamp. You can do those, you can do them pretty much anywhere. One limitation of Lumion is it would be nice to evenly space these. You can tell how mine aren't quite evenly spaced, and that's just something that you have to sit there and practice and fuss with to get right. Okay, so let's try the render. You have several options. You have a lower resolution, and then you got the 1080, and then you have print and poster. When you do print, it's like 32 megabytes, and poster is even more. So most of the time you're going to be able to stick with the desktop, unless it's going to be for a huge poster or something like that. So you can call it test render 1. And you have to leave this window open while it's rendering. Okay, so that's done. Let's do one more from the other side. You can also change the focal length, which kind of does that. And then you can zoom right here within this menu. Let's take a shot from outside. I'm going to try and do one of the lobby right here. So you can see the rendering is something that Lumion handles very well. It does it very quickly. These images take just a few minutes or a few seconds, and videos can take a few hours, but typically it's much faster than if you were to do it another way, like using 3ds Max or Revit. I just noticed that this chair isn't going to work. Oops. There we go. And you know what? We can also add the reflection here. So there you go. We have fully materialized this model. We've added some objects and we've done some test renders. And in the next few lectures, we're going to learn how to do a construction animation and a full animation render.